Hello, all of you freakishly fine folk out there on the tubes of you. Welcome to another spoopy installment of Disinformed After Dark. I'm Shane.
And I'm Michael.
Stop leaving the pause, man. Just get out of here.
I
We're not.
waited
No, it's
10
not pause for
seconds.
a cause. This is not how we play this.
Pour one out for my homies.
I do have sparkling water here, so.
I do not.
Oh, you've forsaken me this week. How terrible.
I'm celebrating Oktoberfest by having some Oktoberfest.
I am celebrating your favorite holiday, working my way up into your birthday. Melissa and I just purchased some nog.
Yes.
Yes. So we were both also excited because we found an oat milk nog. She's a big fan of almond milk nog in particular, but we've moved on because I'm more of an oat milk person. One, as Courtney's taught us, it's more sustainable. But two, oat milk's a little more viscous, kind of creamier. But we also just snagged some cashew milk, which I have never tried, which is also supposed to be a little more, thick and creamy. So, and I love them
with eggnog.
Oh yes, so it's going to be exciting.
Very thick.
I'll keep you updated. It's thick with 3 Ks.
Ooh.
Wait, that's a clan thick. Yeah, we don't want that.
Uh-oh.
No.
It's too white.
I told you in the town that I grew up in, there was a restaurant that's called Katie's Country Kitchen, and they spelt it all with Ks. And it never occurred to me until I was, like cresting into my teens, not living in that town any longer, where I went like, oh, I see. Intolerance and chicken fried steak.
Oh, it is Bodunk, Arizona, so that makes sense.
Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. But what are you going to do? Mm-hmm. Just, just run and hope that you didn't get ptomaine at any time during that. But in any event, hi, welcome back, friends. In case you are unfamiliar, we are, at least for now, the hosts of the ever-popular Disinformed podcast, which flees your preferred provider app every marvelous Monday morning, so you can check us out there. We like to talk about random esoteric nonsense and lie about it. It's exquisitely delightful. Be that, dead presidents and the cause of dead presidents, or perhaps Halloween mythology, maybe some random, turkey terror or torture.
Ooh.
And for instance, this week, Michael elected to discuss some, what we call shenanigans regarding the history of people poisoning Halloween candy, which was a delightful time. So, Michael, do you want to do synopsis? You want to play around for the folks at home?
Yeah. There wasn't a lot of, not a lot of cases of it. Couple of unfortunate ones, but not some random person. It was their parents, or not their parents, family members. Oops.
It can be their parents, just depending upon the time of day and how many fentanyl are in the house. But we'll find out about that. So go check that episode out. It was a lot of fun. But in that, Michael had sent a message along to the crew earlier today discussing the possibility of having a recollection of the number of times during your childhood when you had been force-fed the notion that someone was going to slip you a Mickey Finn while you're out trick-or-treating. And I was prepared to disappoint you because, I was raised in a podunk town and I have paranoid parents. So altogether, this is one of those big things is I was raised in a fairly religious sect, as we've discussed previously. So things like trunk or treat had not been invented back in the 1800s when I was a child. So rather than just wandering from random pull cart to pull cart in the wagon train that I was in to get things, we would just go ferret out for animal droppings out in the wild, see if we could track trails and things. So I don't quite know that experience. It wasn't something that I was thrown at when I was younger. But how about you? Do you have any tales of terror people tried to instill in you in your youth of saying, like, don't go out there and eat the Tootsie Roll? Someone will have given you some poison.
I mean, I had probably the standard response towards, like, let us check your candy, let us do that. They always told us, my parents would tell me and my sister, hey, don't eat your candy until we get home, want to check it, etc., etc. They never did, as far as I can recall.
You're gonna run
they
like
just said, don't eat while you're walking. Yeah.
Oh,
I think they would just like, yeah, they were like, don't eat while you're trick or treating. We
oh,
want to check them when we get home. They never really did. But I feel like it's they can actually see me opening a piece of candy or something like that. And it's not like my sister and I, we enjoyed candy, but we weren't like shoving handfuls of it in our mouths at once. Like I'm still today not a big candy eater. So the couple pieces that we did have, they were able to see from wherever they were sitting and know that, okay, well, there's obviously not a razor blade sticking out of this Tootsie Roll. I think it's okay.
you
But
hope.
they did tell us about, I don't think they ever used the term poison, but razor blades, specifically needles.
Okay.
Um, I think that was what was more in vogue when I was trick or treating, was more needles. And we kind of talked about that in the episode as well. Like, needles are a lot easier to hide than a giant razor blade in an apple, because it's not like you can just sew the skin together and, hey, look, it's a fresh apple. Nothing happened to it. Look here, you know? So that's all I can recall. I don't have any like real funny stories about it or anything like that.
No
But
rabbit pellets baked into cookies or any other nonsense like that, I
I
see.
wish, I
Yeah.
wish I had something a lot more interesting, but no, just
Well, it is. I don't remember being, around anyone who went into hysterics over it. And furthermore, my internet connection is unstable, much
just
like
like
me,
me.
as Michael likes to say. What a delight. Well, in any event, I
uh,
hope I haven't been glitching. I'm sure that we aren't. It's all perfect. Everything's pristine here.
fingers crossed, fingers crossed.
Indeed. Yes, if the black blur happens to emerge behind me, we will know. I'll be dragged down into the rooms, but the back rooms, in fact. Uh,
Ooh, callback.
but yeah, there was no hysteria around it when I was a kid. And in particular, my folks had candy all over the place, like evidenced by the fact both of my parents are diabetic. But when I was younger, like my mom is one of those, we have very distinctly different personalities and peccadillos. So my mom can have a wealth of candy laying around and she won't eat it. She'll just, if she wants it, she'll go over and get a little handful, and she just likes having it around for easy access.
Yeah.
My father is a termite, and I unfortunately have followed more of my father's general hardwiring. So if it's there, I don't realize portion size. It's usually when my hand starts scraping the bottom of the bag, I go, oh, there's not any more chips. How
Uh-oh.
unfortunate. That's going to be a rough night. But yeah, so I was never one of those where like Halloween was a big event for me, because there weren't really great costumes back at the time. My folks have like pictures of us, and it was the old school. I'm sure I'm a generation before you, so this was the bag, like where it was basically a plastic sack that they would give with a really bad mask, and it was like a combo pack that they'd send. So it's like Transformer, and it's just a random box, just indescript face
just
and like blue
printed.
stripes, some weird logo, and you're like, this is kind of the off-brand. This is
This is
yeah,
knockoff Transformers. This is like Trainsformers or something like that.
yeah. It's certainly not. I was forgetting what the Kmart version of
Oh,
Transformers were,
okay. Yeah,
but
that's what I was thinking.
in any event,
Kmart knockoff.
so yeah, I never really had great costumes when I was a kid, and I was just kind of disabused of enjoying Halloween for the festivities of it all, and then
Mm.
just became more fixated on watching horror films. Hence my 30 days of horror, watching horror films per evening and things like that I got sort of fixated on for a while. But so yeah, don't have any real stories. I have heard, I remember like incidental discussion of the razor blade and the apple, which is like just the evergreen story. But
Yeah.
again, like I said, the strains credulity a bit too much for me. But
Exactly. Doesn't make sense to me at all.
now, in particular, when you start getting into cultures where individuals are slipping things in to try to harm people in dramatically different ways, those stories ultimately were a lot more relevant. And I think maybe this is kind of that moralizing that we get from individuals talking about not putting yourself in a compromising position to avoid having someone take advantage of you. Maybe
Mm.
it's a similar rationale or something else, in addition to the things we talked about during the episode. But
Yeah.
craziness. So While we're on the topic, before we get out of here, since we've just had a little spur of the moment discussion here about Halloween candy, do you have a Halloween candy or just a candy in general that you look forward to? Personally, while you think, I was just at the store with Melissa and they have the small Halloween pumpkin shaped Snickers and then the pumpkin
Oh,
shaped like Reese's that for some reason
okay.
I always love those compared to like the holiday Snickers bars and holiday Reese's are always a much better proportionality of the,
Yeah.
if filling to the chocolate. And
Yeah.
so those are always my favorites. I wait for that time of year. It's like if I'm gonna have it, I want the small Snickers.
Oh,
That's really the one. It's more
that's a very good
caramel.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's just
yeah.
like a more, it's a more sensuous and fulfilling bite out of those. And, also they're smaller, so you're not going to get 900 calories in a shot.
I mean, you'll still get 900 calories, but you have to work for it and
Mhm.
open 10 instead of like 2.
See, now I
So,
try to get smart. I just buy one of each. And I know that that is like the carrot at the end of the stick, where I'm like, if I really want something, I'll have that one and it'll be
mhm.
delightful. And then I'm done with it because I know being a termite, I cannot have bags. I just need to have like a port in the storm when I start getting really, crazy with it.
hmm So to answer your question, actually, I agree with you wholeheartedly about the Reese's because that's what I thought of.
Mhm.
Because that was the first thing when you said them the holiday. I was also thinking of the Christmas ones as well. They
Yeah.
always feel like they have a lot more of the peanut butter,
Yeah, absolutely.
or yeah, or the Snickers with the nougat or and the caramel and all that. So yeah, yeah, no, I agree. I love the holiday themed ones, um, a lot, and
The close.
especially whenever it's like Halloween colored,
Yes.
because orange is, I guess, if I had to say a favorite color, orange is my favorite color.
Hmm.
Um, so anytime there's a Halloween thing, it's black and it's orange. So I'm all for it. I think it's great.
And
So
orange
it's
is the new black.
that is very true. I haven't seen the show, but I know it's true.
Yeah, nor have I. I've just heard it said.
There you go.
The closest equivalent that I've ever come is that like they have organic peanut butter cups, and I think you see these as like maybe like the market pantry things or things that you encounter at
hmm
like Target, where it's
Yeah.
that has the proportionate amount of like little cup that's this big, decent amount of peanut butter in the middle, and then just a light sort of coating outside, which that's what you want.
Yeah.
Melissa and I, however, gamed the system and just started making our own peanut butter cups, which is
Really?
it's super simple to do, really. If you just want
Huh.
to sit, you can just microwave yourself some chocolate chips, just get a little like cupcake tin if you have them,
Mhm.
and then you can get the paper is really easy to find anywhere. Just melt yourself some chocolate, do a nice dollop of whatever you prefer to throw in size wise of your peanut
Mhm.
butter, and then just let that cool off. Put a little more
Huh.
chocolate on the top to seal the thing in, and then there you go. And Melissa and
Wow.
I have taken to putting some flaky salt on the top, and it really punches
Ooh.
up the peanut butter. It's delightful.
Some sea salt sprinkled on top with the peanut butter.
And that way you can slide in those pesky razor blades and no one will be the wiser. But I kid. This is not an idea. We're not.
Disclaimer: we don't
Yes.
actually condone that.
No, no. And it's not. It's.
Don't do it.
Yes. Well, it won't be edited off of here at all. But I assure you, YouTube is. We're far too, gone into the video for anybody to be paying attention by now.
Exactly.
Yes, in any event. All right. So, besides giving bad ideas, go make those peanut butter cups, though, because they're delightful. I'll send you the recipe.
Ooh.
And help make your holidays just a bit brighter or more
Hmm.
horrific, depending upon your perspective.
Either or.
Indeed. Well, thank you all for being here as per usual. It is always a delightful time, if not a little hair raising, slightly spoopy, but
Ooh.
it's always grand. And if you want a little more of this action, there is a wealth of material available for you to peruse. And if you like it, Michael's got instructions for you.
Smash that like button. Ring the bell. Hit comment. Hit the comment. Hit the subscribe. I think I covered everything. It's been a minute since we did this. I'm scared and confused,
It's like
disoriented.
it's like riding a bicycle, Michael. You just got to get back on it.
Well, I haven't learned how to do it in the first place, so just watch me fall off.
What are you, Biden? biding my time till we're off this call. But in
Ooh.
any event, there is a link in the show notes below. You can find all of our relevant socials and, of course, new episodes of the podcast wing your way every lovely Monday morning on your preferred podcast provider apps. You can check that out there. And, of course, find hours of entertainment here on the Tubes of You, including all of our After Dark, our book clubs, including some fan fiction that we have done previously, referred to as Disinformed Fan Friction, which is just an absolute delight. You should go check those things out. All in the archives here on YouTube. But otherwise, I think until we see you next time for Disinformed After Dark, this time I am today the Black Blur, the Candy Sadist.
And I am an exaggerated disappointment, as always.
Indeed.
And zippity zoop, we're out of here.